subjects, and at the same time, I'm designated as also chairperson.
Okay. And how long have you been teaching, ma'am?
Uh, Almost 20 years.
20 years. Oh, okay. And have you, so you must have seen a lot of changes then in terms of like
Yes.
student, the culture, digital culture, and also the varieties of opportunities available to students these days, like jobs and all that. The traditional jobs are really very different, isn't it?
Yes, yes. A lot of um changes in terms of, like, for example, attitudes of students, not like 20 years ago, in terms of how students treat their teachers, how they respect, the terms of respect, and so many other. Not this time, since we consider them as they are in the digital era, they are considered as millennial. There's quite different in terms of how students behave, and in terms of their outlook in life, and how they perceive things around them, something like
What what do you think has changed over these 20 years?
maybe because of technology,
Okay.
and
Access
how,
to information.
yes, ma'am, and how also how we the how the people treat them, in terms of because people surrounding them, I can also notice that there are some changes, like for example some provisions of laws, how the government uh, treated them, in terms of discipline in school and other factors, I think.
What about social issues? Did you notice any changes in the family structure? Because I would
Yes,
imagine 20 years, it's
yes.
enough time to evaluate the programs of or the policies of the government as far as let's say, for example, overseas workers and stuff like that.
Yes,
What kind of
when we look at students, 20 years ago, it's we can say that they have different perspective in terms of family relation, in terms of social financial aspect, like for example, in terms of economic aspect. Some students before, when we say like their parents are abroad, or in terms of being in a broken family, it seems like it's hard for them to accept. They are very, but nowadays it seems like they are well adjusted.
yeah,
It seems
and
like everybody is
yeah, and
it's just normal for them.
yeah, but and yet it's not really normal, isn't it? Because like what came out in the newspaper about the situation in Baras recently, in the killing of these two girls, just just awful stuff, sort of agitated by the fact that the wife was in Saudi Arabia and COVID and stress. I mean, 2020 has really not been kind to 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 those that have been in the people hosting, people helping, people, the hospitality industry, the teaching industry, those having to take care of old folks or children or church members, the old, the young, and so on and so forth. Yeah. How's the COVID situation, by the way?
Well, I think everybody is still struggling from COVID nowadays. So everybody is not, everyone is still trying to to cope with the situation. Same is true with the students. So as what I heard most of the time that they are really bored in terms of uh, staying at home, limited access, limited in everything. So it really COVID really affected a lot of people in everything we do.
Well, thank you so much, Lalaine. Araceli, were there any others that that you'd like them to perhaps introduce themselves or give some insight about 2020, what it was like for them, and what they went through, and the traumas that they went through, that must have went through, must have gone through?
Do I need to call up uh, representatives from the different campuses, or just feel free? Let's make this an informal talk so you feel at ease. I have here listed, as I have submitted to you, Pontevedra, Pilar, Boria, Sigma, Dumaraw had Dayaw, Mambusaw had spoken na, then Tapas, and from
Is
the main campus.
is Pilar is Pilar in near is Pilar a seaside town?
Yes,
Pilar
Pastor.
Pilar, who's from Pilar? I think I've been to Pilar before. I had
Oh, Pilar.
a
Yeah.
seafood on this sort of it was like they built the restaurant or whatever it was, a rest area where you could do your own barbecue fish and all that. I remember Pilar very vaguely because we helped one lady during the Yolanda to rebuild the house. I think she
Ah,
was from Balasan or something like that.
yeah. Balasan is just few minutes away from Pilar. Balasan is part already of Iloilo province, Pastor.
I see. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think it was Balasan. Your connection is extremely good. Why is that? What telco are you using? Are you paying extra for this, or what? Why do you sound as though you're in my house, in my living room?
I don't know, Pastor. Actually, the internet connection here in our place is not really good. I don't know what happened. Perhaps
We
it's
prayed.
God's blessing. Yeah. Oo.
It's like yeah, it's so clear, and I don't have to struggle to hear you at all, because yeah, in the King's College, we depend a lot on the clarity of the signal in
Yeah.
order to hear, get that audio and that video clarity for teaching. Have you?
Yeah.
Your name is Jay Ann, is
Uh,
that right?
yes, Pastor. I am. By the way, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Pastor. I am Jay Ann Gregorio. I am the designated guidance counselor of our campus. With me here this afternoon is Miss Kim Rose Bores, our staff in the guidance office. Uh,
Welcome.
uh, yeah.
And and Jay Ann, have you been forced? Have all the teachers been forced online to actually digitalize all their curriculums because of COVID?
In our campus, I think it's in the whole University of CapSU Pastor. We have the blended learning. We have options whether we will go on modular mode or online classes. In our case here in Pilar, since our internet connection is really not good, so our school opted for modular mode, wherein we print na modules and send them to our students.
Oh wow.
Though yeah, as a teacher, that we also have an option because it is very difficult for our students na purely module lang. So we also engage sometimes on online classes, but that is not on regular mode. We just do that as supplementary to our modules.
Okay, so supposing you're teaching an online module, right? How long is your class? Because I'm a little bit concerned next week when we have our training. The hours that we are going to be online is not a problem for us here for our internet, but I'm just worried if students are dialing in using their mobile phone, what kind of duration do you go?
Mm. We usually opt for 40 to 60 minutes, so that is an average 1 hour. Usually that's the average lang po talaga na span. uh, yan ang ano namin classes. Yeah, more than that, well,
40 to 60 minutes, huh?
1 hour. Yeah, on an
Yeah, we
average.
have to factor that in because we're planning as though we are actually having a live in-person conference with 2 hours in the morning and a lunch break and 2 hours in the afternoon. I'm really wondering how feasible that will be. But anyway, we will think about that and hopefully we can have a good signal just like what we're having now with you.
I
Mm,
think
but
I
yes, ma'am.
think, Pastor, our students only have to be instructed. They know how to get a load of 50 pesos for unlimited surfing for 3 days, and they have to station themselves in a place where they have good signal.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a real commitment for them, huh? But I mean, wow. I feel sorry that, they have to actually remove themselves from the comfort of whatever it is, their sofa or their couch, to actually go up on the roof maybe and get a better signal or something. I don't know. Okay. Thank you so much, Jayan and
Yeah, thank you,
Araceli.
Pastor.
Boreas, we have Ma'am J and actually is our focal person among us, guidance counselor for the whole system. Let us hear from Ma'am Van. Are you in? Miss
Well, maybe
Abaw?
maybe Jayan can come back and tell us a little bit in terms of when you say guidance system, what is involved in the guidance system, so I can get a better idea.
But just a correction, ma'am. I'm not really a focal person because we don't have a designation. But in CapSU, guidance counselors naman, we are all united now. So as guidance counselors, what? We are in charge of the welfare of the students, Pastor. So we are providing services for our students to assist them in their academic difficulties, personal, social, and other concerns nila. So we have different services to help them, you know, all throughout
Resting,
in their journey
psychiatric.
sa college education. Yes, Ma'am Cortel, you may add.
I think it's good, Jayan, if you can fill me in or anybody else would like to add to what Jayan is describing, so that I can get a better picture and bring this back to our constituency, because I am looking for people who can give career and business encouragement, insight, wisdom, and especially perspective on how young people can not only survive but thrive in a post-COVID environment. So I am looking after this briefing to connect with those within our community, including our prayer community, within the communities here in Singapore and elsewhere, and to see how we can come alongside all of the counselors here I suppose you guys would be the frontliners. How we could come alongside you and help to spread the care and the concern for the next generation. Anybody else have any thoughts or key learning points, or to better understand what the young graduates or the fresh graduates are going to be facing? I know there's an economic impact from COVID, and we will be having the group general manager of Mega World addressing the cohort at some point in time. I'm not sure when that will be, but we'll definitely record that as well and then drop it in the modality, CapSU Modality server. I plan to put this recording, I plan to put all the proceedings, all the trainings, and the individual testimonials in the server so that students can, if in the middle of for whatever reason they run out of load or they can't finish a training or for whatever reason they're called away, they can go back to the server and rewatch the trainings and the gain the insights that they need to. So we are looking particularly for business owners and key thinkers. If you know of them, when I was in Iloilo the last time, the airport and the Marriott Hotel, we were holding a conference there for I think 2 or 3 days, the same conference actually. And we met with the general manager there. At that time, it's the same person. It's Clofi Albiso. I don't know if anybody knows her. But at that time, she was the GM at Marriott. And she was the only Filipino lady GM in the Marriott chain at that time. That was about 5 or 10 years ago. And then, of course, she was promoted to now she's Group GM for the Mega World properties, chain of properties. And so if you do know of business owners, quickly let us know and let Araceli know. I'd like to speak to them. Key thinkers, philosophers, voices of value, artists, coaches, athletes, mentors, anyone who has there. I plan also to introduce to you the artwork of presidential portraiture artist Maki Bongabong. He's from Davao. I don't know if you know him, but he spent a month with us here in Singapore when he was a 23-year-old and artist, and he was a charcoal artist. His mother died from mercury poisoning in the mines, the gold mines of Marcos, I think it is, somewhere in Davao. And so the father was a poor fisherman, so he was forced into the streets of Davao City and begging, and he quickly caught on that he was actually better at charcoal sketching than he was at begging for food. And so that's how this was a true rags to riches story that we got to know. We were part of that. And 10 years later, when it was 31, a little pop-up store was visited by Duterte's, one of the aides, and he was invited up to have lunch with your president. And but by that time, I mean, he was an unknown at that time. But I had already commissioned a room full of paintings when he was not famous. And he told me he used to do like one big a big portrait or something like that for 1,500 pesos or something like that. And now, of course, they're selling it. If you have like 12 family members or something, millions of pesos. And his portraiture of Duterte, President Duterte, is right beside all the arma solos and other famous classic Filipino masters.
Ma'am,
So,
maka-join ka.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, if anybody does have any sort of connections with Filipino, especially Filipino, those who have done well, and we can connect up, and I can make the connection, and we'd like resources. I will be bringing in some business people from the Singapore business entrepreneurial scene, and entrepreneurship, I think, will be one of the categories that will be featured also in the server. In fact, I can share some stuff. Can I share my screen with you, folks? Is it all right if I can share my screen? I'm going to introduce also. I'm also going to introduce to the folks here. Yeah, this is David Ang. I think you can.
You create something that nobody has created before, will bring an improvement or enhancement to mankind. From having no aeroplanes to now having aeroplanes to fly from one country to another, from riding on a horse to right now being able to go to places in a car. These are all birthed from people who's got ideas on how to make the world a better place. And that really is the overarching thinking, philosophy of entrepreneurship. Before I tell what I do, I tell what I believe in and who I am. I'm a person who really believes that the next generation, the next world will be created by people with ideas. Some of us, some of you, have certain discontentment or certain dissatisfaction or certain thoughts about how to do things in a new way or even doing some new things. And these are sitting in you. Could be a buggeration, could be a passion, or could be a conviction. And my heart is to really help you to see how we can bring these ideas or these new solutions into something that can be implementable, can bring it to fruition, and make it something that can be used for the betterment of mankind. If let's say your aspiration is mainly to start a business, there are very specific and very streamlined and tailored things, tailored content in courses that you can take. And thus, a more efficient and a shorter way to understand the basic mechanics of starting a business may not necessarily be attending a business course in terms of getting a business degree. First, you need to have a plan. You need to know who you're selling to. You need to know how you're selling. You need to know what you're selling. And you also need to know how to manufacture or prepare the product or the service that you're selling, and at the right cost. And thereafter, you need to have a cash flow projection. A business lives and dies on its cash flow. You can have huge profit, you can have huge revenue, but if you don't have cash flow, basically the business will die.
Okay, so David is just one of a number of business people that I would like to introduce you to. I'm also working with this lady here, Jean Purcell, on a business English course. This is a snapshot from the CapSU mods server that I'm going to be introducing to the GCs today, immediately after this session. Those of you who attend this session, I'm sending you a little note through Araceli, and then I will give you a link as well just to go through. It's not completed yet because I'm still collecting the different resource persons. But as I say, we've got different resource persons. This person is in a different time zone, Jean Purcell, and she is a teacher of English, business English, and so on and so forth. So what I would like to do is I'd like to say that, participating agencies with us, with the expertise and experience, able to align with our philosophy, with the periodic table of human behavior, as the Bible predicts, are welcome to this conversation. And we want to open up hosts of missional conversation concerning the problems that we're facing, humanity faces. And very often it's the thing that irritates you that is a clue to your assignment. I don't know if you ever thought of that, but sometimes when we think of problems and difficulties and they really are not, they should not be seen as enemies, but they, like COVID, should not be seen as an enemy. It should be seen as a door to your new future. And it's really important for you to see that God has created a way of escape, not to run away from problems, but to face to find solutions to these problems. And so the missional topics that we face as humans in a dark world, will provide the impetus for discovery in life and learning and futures. So that's what I always pray this prayer. I always ask Jesus into the conversation of life and learning and of futures. And so that's basically what we will be looking at. Maybe I can give you a preview. Also, let me share my screen with you. I can give you a preview of the mod server that we will be sharing with the students and participants. And it basically, this is the server here, and there will be a whole loads of coaching conversations. We're going to be looking at diagnostics, discovery diagnostics, which is my area. Then teaching English online. We're going to have a communication specialist from Philippines, but is based in Ho Chi Minh City. Based in Hanoi. And she's going to be talking about opportunities in terms of English as a second language, ESL teaching online. There's going to be information about graphic design in case there are people who are artistically inclined, but they never took graphic design, but they may be interested in the area of using basic apps and tablets and iPads to learn about graphic design and making that just an interim business opportunity until something better comes along. But in any case, these tools are always useful. Of course, in terms of art, those artists among you connect you up with the Davao Makibongabong School of Studio there in Mindanao. Think about doing internships and so on and so forth. We have a testimony of a young lady who is learning New Testament Greek with me, Giselle Kulala, and she just is a 2021 awardee. She just received a full scholarship to do her medical studies in St. Luke's Hospital. And she was praying about this like years ago when she came and visited us in Singapore. And she literally said, I cannot, there is no way I could ever have afforded medical school. Professor Prisha Jengjaland, he's a political scientist, and he's an advisor on economic affairs and politics to the Thai government, where he's one of our coaches as well. Dr. Chua Ying Hui, also he is early childhood specialist. He plays the violin, and he'll address us, and he'll share a little bit. Maybe he'll tell us a little bit about his time in King's College in London, taking up music. But I'm also going to introduce to you Dr. Shirley Lee from Malaysia, and she has a mass online courseware. It's called Universal Business Academy. And again, when she was 20-something years old, the husband, they just got married, had a baby, and then the husband was, involved in a fatal car accident, and she couldn't speak English, and she had to teach herself English. So I can imagine many Filipino graduates are way ahead of where she was. And today she's a PhD holder, and she runs her own business school and academy, which is entirely online. So you'll be able to see. This is kind of her. This is kind of her story as well. So all of this will be on the server, the mod server. Then as well, in terms of hospitality, Cleofe Albiso, she will give her thing. In terms of entrepreneurship, so I'm really encouraging all the participants in this mods training to get into this server, and I'll give you the link for it. Learning management, statistics. I want to introduce to you Teresita Castañeda, whose family took care of sugar planters in Negros, and she studied statistics, and she has a very interesting story. Her family owns some petrol stations, I think, as well, and she had to face off with corrupt officials and so on and so forth. Eventually, she and her siblings graduated, and she snagged a job with the United Nations in New York. And she will be sharing with you her journey to success, and also to in the faith, her spiritual journey as well, to learn the Bible. And eventually, she found herself at the socioeconomic business unit as a statistician in Geneva, Switzerland, where she met her husband, an Australian minister of the gospel, actually. I have some folks that are going to be sharing with you about insurance and financial instruments. Of course, I have my own proprietary Greek exegesis. If you're interested in doing internships, if the students have skills, engineering skills, they can build bridges or toilets or fix roofs or electronic wiring of this, that, and the other. We have a special internship, something like a Peace Corps opportunities for students who can find their way to the churches. Then we will find sponsoring churches who can actually give them board and lodging and instruction into how to put their talents and their skills to good use. We have another section on family literacy. I haven't loaded it up yet here, but we have a program called Engezo, which is an entire school in a laptop, in a tablet. And this is for families that are cut off from Wi-Fi. And this could be a resource for any teacher as well, because it's got the entire curriculum in the tablet as well. So I don't know if there are electronic whizzes or geniuses who know all about SIM cards and about memory chips and all of this. They could do internships in this area as well. And of course, we have another section that I will be populating on anti-human trafficking. We did a few trainings at a local high school. I think it was somewhere in Haniwai or Bajangan, somewhere in Iloilo. And it was very well received. Hundreds of students got to know, the dangers of being targeted, especially the young ladies being targeted. We also have, for those interested in law and the whole discussion on law and lawlessness as well, we have modules and trainings and all sorts of things. And then we have fun things as well. I haven't populated it, but we have Mighty Man camps. And as I say, there'll be business English that will be offered as well. All of this is free of charge. There's no cost except other than if you have to travel, if you have to take a ship or a bus or something, well, you have to pay for it yourself. But there's no course fees for any of this stuff. And we're very happy to provide, I'm very happy to provide my entire course on which is what is basically, this is a summary page of what you will be learning about the multiple intelligences that God has given to us, all of us, but there'll be one area that really is your birthright genius and how to use that genius. You can see the names of that in English at the bottom there. Discover. There are some people who have this spatial, extrasensory kind of ability to, I call it hyper seeing. It's the gift of the eye, basically. And then number 2 there at the bottom is the kinesthetic intelligence. Some people are highly gifted in the way they use their body, especially in the way they use their hands. And then number 3 there are some who are gifted pedagogy in terms of being able to teach other people. It's pedagogical intelligence. And this is seen in children as well. Those that can teach, they've been teaching since they were 2 or 3 or 4 years old. And number 4 there are those with the vocal or shall I say linguistic, cultural intelligences. And again, this is the enable, encouragement. This is the coach. So you've got the teacher, you've got the coach, and then the last one, the rescue one, that's the mentor. That's the intrapersonal intelligence. And then the two in the middle, the give and the lead. The give is that the pink color, that's the economist. That's the one really gifted or a genius with mathematics and logic. And then the last but not least is number 6. The genius is of expansion. That's the lead. Traditionally, what people call the strongman leadership guy, the guy who bangs his table. You know, the Donald Trump or the I don't know what Duterte may be like that. I don't know, but anyway, we'll go through all 7 of these geniuses. So that's a little bit on what we do and particularly the different servers that we have. And so I'll introduce that through Araceli and so on and so forth. Anybody have any questions? Very glad to. I think we've come to the end of our time as far as this little introduction, but it's good that we have it down on record, so that if anybody missed this, you can just pass this. We'll pass this link to Araceli after we put in the comments. Anybody have any questions on the training for next week? I think it's going to be in 3 batches of 250 students each. Is that right, Araceli?
There will be, the 3rd batch might be more than 250, sir, since if we are able to disseminate good enough, I believe that the students are going to join.
Sure. Okay. Well, just get it out on maybe your Facebook page or your Instagram page, or through the handphone. I think that the fastest is electronic medium.
So
And
are you going to give us the link, or
yes,
allowed
I'm
to join
going
the
to after
server?
this. I'm gonna send the link to you, and then I'm gonna compose the message to all the CapSU GCs, and then they can go in, take a look, see what you like, what you don't like. I will give instruction to our technical support guy. He is young Joshua Lee, Pauline's son, and he's a little bit shy. So please be nice to him, and he is going to give you permissions to go into the locked, those things that are locked, and perhaps you can propose what are the other draw items that you would like to see as far as guidance and careers and things like that. We're very happy to work with this particular cohort, even beyond the conference. It's not a problem. Everything's electronic and it's all free. So we found a server and we're able to preload all the necessary videos, training videos. There'll be videos for coaches as well. Those of you who are wanting to learn more about modalities, I'll put in the videos there and the links as well. So on your own time, there's no hurry. For this process is a period of time. And as I say, if anyone has other information on how we can crystallize and realize the goals of this stewardship, because I really do see this as a stewardship and opportunity. And also, by the way, if any of you have friends in high places, do let us know, mayors or governors or provincial leadership, and they can also help I'll be looking to the Negros forestry department. I know some people I climb mountains with, and they may be looking for, there may be job openings with as rangers and trainees and that sort of thing. So, yeah, it's a dark time. Things are not getting better in the economy. I don't think it's fully recovered, and even if they come out with whatever packages, so many billions of pesos, I don't know how that can really, too little, too late, really. Yeah, we really need to have thinking out of the box thinking to make sure that we can thrive, not just survive, but thrive during this difficult time. So thank you very much, Araceli. Anyone have any questions? Maybe in 5-10 minutes we have some questions.
Before that, Pastor, I have gotten into that server, and I would just like to give them my own impression. Since Capiz State University is composed of different colleges and they are of differing interests, such as realistic interest in the College of Engineering, business interest and entrepreneurship in the College of Management, then the education department also have different sorts of student interests in the industrial technology. In my impression, when you go into the server, when you get into the room, you will find different topics there which you can click and in fact probably connect if they will allow you, so that later on you can find means to enable our students. Like I was exploring with our speaker, Reverend Shaw, of possibilities like deployment later on for on-the-job trainings of our students, so they can have experiences abroad and enhance their skills. For example, in the field of entrepreneurship and industrial technology and even in engineering.
Yep. Why not? And right now, while their airplanes are not flying, this is the time for upgrading. So those students who have means and they are able to avail themselves of the discounts from some of these mass online courseware, this is the time, because you can negotiate the price as well with the individual business owners. So everything is negotiable, and yeah. And scholarships too. Don't forget scholarships. Look high and low for scholarships. As I say, Giselle has gotten a scholarship, 5-year scholarship at St. Luke's to pursue. And when she told me this, she told me that she got accepted in her dream school. And I immediately told her, don't tell anybody. It's just a dream. I thought that she had a dream that she was accepted into the, and actually, no, it wasn't. She actually got into her dream school. She was not dreaming that she got into school. But anyway, I believe, the Bible says, fear not. For you, nothing shall be impossible. And what is it that God has laid on your heart? I think we really need to, come back to first principles, that without God, we can't do anything. And He's the one who gives us hope. And, we can sleep at nights in the knowledge that He is holding up the world. He has the whole world in His hands, and He's got you and me in His hands. And there's nothing to fear. If we are sincere, you come genuinely to God, whatever your need, whatever your situation, even teachers, you need to, all of us, we educators, we need to refresh ourselves. In fact, the first level of that I'm excited to share this information with is with the guidance counselors themselves. Any questions?
So we enjoin to join the students, not only the students to join the training, the online training on modalities, but the school personnel as well of Capital State University. If it has a good result among you who will be able to join in, you can request for separate training later on for faculty and staff. The gist of the training on modalities is identifying your natural abilities, your gifts, the purpose why you are born, um, and your purpose in life. Thank you so much for your attending this afternoon. I hope that you will be there to join the students and support them during the session. I think this is the best gift that we can give our students as they leave the portals of Capital State University. Nothing in the world is certain and permanent. Above all, beyond the instructional equipping and the academic training of the student, they need to have a sense of purpose and foundation for who they are, so as not to be moved by difficulties and circumstances when they graduate. Thank you so much to the Mods TV, care of our speaker. Actually, just to give you a brief introduction of Reverend Shao, I researched his trainings. More will be said during the training, but as of this time, he studied systematic theology at Oral Roberts University. His background is also in the field of engineering. He studied engineering at Robert Gordon, Aberdeen. We researched that's in Scotland. And he calls himself as TCK, third culture kid, since he was so much exposed to a lot of cultures in 4 different continents of the globe, even during his young age. So he can understand different culture and he sounds not really a Singaporean because of his trainings and exposures. So
Well,
I hope
actually, I'm the genuine Singaporean. So beware of counterfeits. I'm the real thing. All right.
thank you so much. I hope we pray for the power in connection of our students, that they can attend favorably with enablement of technology and the blessing of the Lord for strong connection.